Peace and welcome to the very first episode of the High Science Network. We are the world's leading destination for bold perspectives that challenge conventional thinking. My name is Defame. I'm your host, your big brother, and companion in tribulation. As you join us here for today's show, we humbly ask that you hit like as well as subscribe to our channel to show your support. All right, before we get into today's topic, be sure to check out our sponsor, Soul Food Tees Apparel. Soul Food Tees is a vibrant graphic apparel company dedicated to celebrating and uplifting the unique experiences of Black Americans. Visit their site today at soulfoodtees.com and use the checkout code SCIENCE to receive 10% off your entire order. All right, so for today's episode, we are going to discuss this recent controversy surrounding DJ Akademiks and this video that has surfaced of him having a very sexually charged and highly inappropriate conversation with a minor. If you have not seen the video that I'm talking about, be prepared. You must have a very strong stomach to watch the video. I myself did not get through the entire video. I think I made it as far as I could before I became so enraged that I needed to turn the video off. In the video, this dude, DJ Akademiks, is interrogating this 15-year-old child about sexual acts that DJ Akademiks is interested in sort of suggesting to the child to perform. And Akademiks is just pressing and harassing this child throughout this interrogation. What makes this even worse is that there were other individuals who appear to be associates of DJ Akademiks, and they took turns asking their own inquiries that included sexually charged questions and suggestions. So throughout this video, you can see how incredibly uncomfortable this child was and how unbearable it was for this child to sort of tolerate the experience. And this is what made it just infuriating to watch. So I have a few questions as well as observations, and I want to talk about that with you, the audience. So first and foremost, what I need to understand is, how did these guys gain access to this child? Clearly, it appears that someone broke this child's trust, or the parent or the guardian of this child, their trust was broken. Someone must have trusted their child to speak one-on-one with Akademiks. So I'm presuming this is someone who knew Akademiks and thought, well, this is cool. And the child might have known Akademiks. I presume they probably knew each other. I could be wrong. But usually when this type of weird stuff happens, the predator is betraying someone's trust who was in the protection of the child. This is why, you hear that these Boy Scout leaders and these ministers at the church and gym teachers and the basketball coach, these are the guys you wind up hearing have violated children. And you're like, not Mr. So-and-so. He worked with all the kids and he bought them ice cream. And how could he do this? And these are the guys, because you trust them. And in exchange, they get access to your child. And you don't find out until the damage is done. That is what's so sinister about this, is that someone broke this child's trust. I don't know who it was, and I don't want to just place all of the blame on the parent or the guardian, but whoever that was, you need to be much more protective of your child and who gets to access them. Number two, who were the other guys on the call? See, we can say DJ Akademiks by name, and he might take 100% of the blame for this, but he should not take 100% of the blame. The blame should be distributed amongst them as a group. When we speak of this incident, we should speak of it as a group incident so that they don't slip away into darkness. Now, I'm an old guy. I don't keep up with these hip hop dudes, especially these little cornball outsiders that got into the culture through the internet, which is who DJ Akademiks is. He's one of these internet dudes. I really don't care about any of these dudes. I don't care to know who they are, really. But for this purpose, yeah, we want to know who those guys are. Y'all might know who they are, but if you do, we need to put their names out there. We need to know who these guys were who were speaking inappropriately to this young man, to this child. You guys were taking turns asking highly inappropriate, sexually charged questions of a minor. You were pressing the child. You were making him uncomfortable, and you were having dialogue with him that a child should not have ever been exposed to. So we need to know who you are. We need to know who you are. Put their names out there, and everyone make sure we know who these guys are. This should be the last thing we ever know about these guys. We don't want to hear about any of your future accomplishments. We don't hear about anything else you got going on. That includes DJ Akademiks. This is the last thing we ever want to talk. Just like what they did with Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. Nobody's ever going to talk about anything beyond what they were last known for, which was being attached to sexual crimes. Whether you agree whether they did it or not, that's the last thing anybody's going to talk about. We don't see anything else in their historical timeline. So how they did that to R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, that's what needs to happen to you guys. We don't need to be able to talk about any of your future accomplishments, anything. No, the last thing we need to have a conversation about, if we see you at the grocery store, out and about, that's the dude that was asking a kid, would he be okay putting his mouth on this or having a mouth? No, that's what you said, right? And I'm not going to repeat it word for word, but I heard you guys. You asked a child that. A child who was innocent and was sitting there trying desperately to get out of the conversation, who gave you guys innocent responses, which is what a child should give you, and you guys found that unsatisfactory. You continue to press that child. You continue to interrogate that child. And what you did was criminal and absolutely disgusting. And we need to know who you guys are. Let's talk about the next thing. Here is something that is probably going to be the most important part of this video. And I think every parent needs to understand what I'm about to say and how crazy this is. So many of us throughout the years were told, especially old guys like me, back in my time, we were told, stranger danger, and you don't talk to, weird, strange people. They used to tell us stories when we were kids about guys in vans that would ride around and kidnap you and lure kids to vans. And, here's a pet puppy. Do you want to pet the puppy? And then you'll never be heard from. So we were warned about all this kind of stuff. Don't accept candy from strangers. There'll be some weird guy pulling up in the car. Yo, you want a piece of candy? Be careful with these guys. This is stuff that was impressed upon us as kids. We always understood the danger in interacting with weird people like that. We didn't fully understand the sexual aspect of it, but we understand that these people are up to no good and that we shouldn't be talking to them. What I never understood or knew or was aware about was how the inner workings of the process works when these sick predators get access to a child. For the first time, listening to that DJ Akademiks video, that was the first time I was able to see from an in-depth standpoint just how treacherous, diabolical, and disgusting the process is where a predator is trying to coach your child into a sexual act. This is the first time you can see the process in action. And it is absolutely infuriating and disgusting if you're a parent to see how these guys do. Let's talk about that for a minute. I'm listening to what this dude is doing, and he's using manipulation in order to get the outcome he wants. So what they do is they corner the victim. The victim is desperately saying, hey, listen, I just want to be friends with whoever that person is. And Akademiks is pouring it on like, nah, you wouldn't want to smash. You wouldn't want to, bro, this is a child. And Akademiks clearly wants the response to be a positive one that sort of accepts that, yeah, okay, fine. Even if that's not what the victim wants, the predator wants the victim to just agree. The predator gets satisfaction out of the victim just agreeing to go along with it. Don't you want to just accept the fact that so-and-so wants to kiss you or on you or do this? And excuse me, I don't want to get too graphic here. But this was the kind of stuff that was being discussed with a child. And I'm realizing it was just a massive effort to be manipulative and take advantage of an innocent person who didn't have the capacity or the understanding to defend themselves in the exchange. That's why this is not something that we should sweep under the rug or ignore or treat like an innocent act. This should stain these guys for life. These guys who were on that call should be stained for life. And this is not something we're just going to talk about, move to the next thing. We need to stay on these guys for this. Highly unacceptable. And to watch it in action is stomach turning. I want to say one last thing. Two last things. I apologize. We need to take a stronger effort as parents and guardians and big brothers and big sisters to really monitor the interactions these kids are having on the internet. Their smart devices, such as their tablets and their phones, their laptops, their computers. These kids think they're doing some innocent things by playing video games, playing Roblox, getting on Discord. They're just being kids. They're just being kids. And you have sick people signing up with accounts, getting on here, interacting with children. And furthermore, not just interacting, but saying, yo, I want to have a sexually charged convo with this kid. These are the people who are on these apps. We need to monitor these apps. We need to know who these people are who are talking to our kids. And in fact, it may make sense to disable any of the chat capabilities on some of this stuff. It may make sense to do that and ask your kid, who are you talking to? I want to know who you have conversations with. What are your conversations like? Who's talking? Are there any adults on here talking to y'all? Your kid needs to be okay coming to you saying, yo, this is a grown person talking to me. Oh, good to know. Let's block him and get him up off of here. He don't need to be talking to you. Children should not be talking to no weird, strange, unfamiliar adults on the internet. And this person, DJ Akademiks, and whoever his associates were, understood that they could fly under the cover of the internet in order to do this. Their cameras weren't even on. That young man had his camera on. He's probably thinking, I'm innocent. What's the harm in this? And these weirdos are sitting here disguising themselves without their camera, saying, yo, let's take turns asking this child some inappropriate questions. Sickening, man. I'm really controlling myself in terms of what I talk about here because I could say some other things about consequences. But again, I'm trying to keep this a little bit more high road, professional, and I want the message to be the priority here, not so much my emotions with regard to anger and frustration. So I'm trying to be very controlled in how I report this. I want to say one last thing and I'm going to sign off. Our politicians, I don't know if you guys have any legislation that you're looking to pass that gives our kids stronger protection on the internet. That may exist. There may be laws already established that I'm not familiar with. But if they are not, we need that. We need that. If you're running for office and you're a politician, you're a congressperson, you're a senator, whatever you are, we need protections at the federal level for our children who are getting on these apps, getting on the internet, such that in the future, if someone like this weirdo, DJ Akademiks and his friends, get on there as grown people pushing 40 years old, asking a minor about their level of interest in a sex act. If these weirdos do that again, there need to be some sort of consequences, a mandatory jail sentence, also sex offender status. Period. We need to teach these guys a lesson. They can't get on here talking to our kids like that. They can't get on here. We catch these guys. We get audio of these guys talking about put your mouth on this and do that with a child. Oh, yeah? Okay, here you go. Here's a warrant for your arrest, my boy. Yeah, we need federal laws to protect our children on the internet. If this is stuff these weirdos want to do, then we need that. Because our kids are getting on these apps thinking they playing video games and talking with their friends, telling jokes and just being kids. And you got a weirdo that says, well, I'm going to get in here too and try to mingle and let's be clear, not mingle. They're trying to find victims. And we need to punish these people criminally. This isn't something to laugh at. This is not a joke. It's not a prank. It's not something you're going to giggle about and it gets swept under the rug a week later and we forgive you. We don't forgive people, and I'm being careful. I don't want to use the PED word because people are sick their lawyers on you, but we don't want to play footsie with predators. See, there's certain things we just not going to play with, and that's one of them. And I'm an old school dude. From my era, we don't play with them kind of people. See, y'all do this inclusion thing now, and everybody's cool, and everybody can be. See, I'm not from this era. Yeah, we don't. I'm going to be careful with how I speak. We don't play with them kind of people, bro. Yeah. You could get, I'm going to be careful. I don't want terms of service violations, but seriously, let me just tone it down a bit and just circle back and close out this video by saying what would really help is having some sort of law in place to protect our children so that if something like this happens, this kind of guy winds up with a warrant for his arrest and the police show up at his door and say, we already got the audio of stuff you were saying to that child, sexually charged conversations with children, sexually charged convos will result in you doing a minimum of 3 years in prison. Put your hands behind your back and get in this police car. Yeah. That'll stop a lot of this nonsense. And to that young man that this happened to, right now, I don't know what's going through your mind. You're an innocent child. In the future, you're going to reflect back on this, and this is not going to be something pleasant for you. You were victimized, bro. It was verbal. They didn't put their hands on you. I get that part, but you shouldn't have been subjected to a convo like that. And as you get older and you start to become aware of more adult-related topics, you're going to realize that these guys were predators and nothing about that was funny or cute or just a fleeting moment. They made an attempt to size you up in order to further their level of victimization of you. I don't know how you find a group of guys that agrees with this and gets on code with this kind of behavior on a call, but clearly there's sick people out there, and that should alarm every parent out there that you can get a group of dudes on a call together that talk like this to a child. Not a single one of them polices any of the others. Because I got friends. And if we got on a group chat on WhatsApp or some other app or whatever, and somebody made a little joke or spoke to a little child inappropriate, you're not going to do that with me on the call. I don't care how long I knew you. I don't care what kind of friendship I thought we had. Yeah, that's going to stop. I don't care if you related to me. I don't care if you my blood brother, bro. If you speak inappropriately to a child, we're going to have a serious problem. That convo ain't going to continue. I'm going to tell the child to hang up and I'm going to deal with you. But these guys didn't issue any checks and balances, and all of them were on code and on the same page with victimizing that child. We need protections against people like that. I've spoken a little too long here. I didn't want this video to go this long, but I really wanted to get my ideas out here on this and share my observation and give my perspective on this. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for the entire video, man. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate you. Please hit like and subscribe. I got more content coming your way. And I want you guys to have a blessed day, and peace and love to everyone out there. Thank you.